So let's write the test for our code to see if the guess that the user entered is correct. So what we're going to do is we're going to say if, and then we're going to write a conditional comparison statement, a Boolean statement. So we can say if the guess, not the text, remember the actual number, is less than the number, then we want to print something out. And for defining these if statements in all sort of code blocks in Python, we use a colon to indicate we're about to define a block of code that's going to run in some situation. Maybe it's a function, maybe it's a loop. In this case, it's a block in our if statement. So when it's true, the guess is less than the number, we're going to print out something like too low. The guess is too low. The guess is lower than the number the computer came up with. So that's one part. Next, we want to ask else if it's the case. So we say elif, or again, if the guess is too high, if it's higher than the number, we'll print too high, like so. And notice when I hit enter, when I type this block, let's go back for a second. If I type X and hit enter, or complex, or whatever PyCharm wants to correct it for us, and I say test, and I hit enter, it goes back to the same line here. But because PyCharm knows about this structure with colons, if I go and I type something like if X colon hit enter, it automatically indents for me. So you'll see these Python intelligent editors like PyCharm make it really easy to write code correctly. So we have if indent, print too low, else if, elif, guess is too high, print too high. And then the last thing we want to do is say else, colon, and we'll print un. So there's a few more things we're going to need to do to make this work just the way we'd like. But let's go ahead and run it and see how it's working. What's a good guess? 54. It must be 54. Too high. Oh, well, the way the game's supposed to work, it's supposed to say too high. Now you get another chance. So what we actually need to do is go around and around. And that means we need to define something called a loop. And the type of loop that works really well for this situation in Python is something called a while loop. So you say while, and then some sort of condition goes here that you want to test. And as long as that's true, you're going to go around and around and around. So we want to say, long as the guess is not a winning guess, we want to keep going around. So we'll say guess. You say equals like this, remember? And if you say not equals, you say exclamation equals. All right, so now I'm going to say a colon. Now, we need this whole if statement, else if part to run while this loop is going. And the way that we do that in Python is we indent it. So I can highlight it in PyCharm and hit tab, and it's going to indent everything 4 spaces for us. And then when we're no longer indented, if I print something down here, done like so, you can see this is actually out of the loop. Now, if I run this, something really bad is going to happen. We're going to end up in what's called an infinite loop because we get one piece of input here from the person. We convert it to a guess. Let's say it's 52, who knows, whatever. And we're going to go in here, and unless you guess the winning number, it's going to go around and around and around. And either say too low, too low, too low, or too high, too high, too high. And it's never going to give the user another chance to enter this text. So what we need to do is make sure that we ask this question and do the conversion within the loop. Okay, so remember indent, so it's part of the loop. We'll talk more about that in a moment. So we're going to get the number, and then we're going to convert it, and so on. Now, you can see PyCharm has this sort of highlighted as an error, and it says guess cannot be defined after it's used. So basically, we need to give some kind of value for the initial test, so we get into this loop at least once. So we can pick something like -1 or something that will never be a winning guess. That'll make sure that we at least run through this scenario one time. Now, let's try it. 54. Too high. 40. Too low. 45. Too high. Ooh, 43. Do I feel lucky? Yes, I was lucky. Awesome. So that's how the game works. We can do a little bit nicer stuff, but let's take a moment and pause and look at this concept of this indentation and defining code blocks that run by using indentation. This is one of our core concepts that we're introducing as part of this app.